shirt look like a pajama shirt?
It don't look like a pajama shirt.
Doesn't make sense.
It makes sense. I think it still can be a little harsh.
One method of support may not be what's needed in that moment.
You know, the people preachers be like, the Lord downloaded a nugget or whatever. I feel like I just had that moment.
Okay, go ahead with your... What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of
SN Hours, the podcast.
So thank you for tuning in. Thank you guys for commenting on the videos, keeping the engagement up. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe. But
Right now.
I guess right now.
Right now.
You're already watching, so click the
It's
bell
just a
notification
button.
also so you know when we release, because we do release minis from each long form. So while trying to keep this episode, I guess, a little short, I'm gonna let you go ahead and take over.
Okay. So this weekend, my husband, the owner of Threefold Film Group, shout out, babe. With a little applause here.
Plug.
Yes, a little applause.
She like when I put the applause in there.
Biggs here in Charleston, South Carolina. All right. But he had a gig this week, one that was kind of like last minute, where he ended up having to do a recap on top of some other videos he did for a nonprofit on this weekend. And throughout the last month, we have both assisted with this particular gala. Of course, he did all of the film work, and I helped with the marketing. So at the gala, the visionary, she called both of us up, but she was speaking like in regards to the film production company, which is my husband's company. So while she was speaking about the video, and she was like, yeah, the Burketts, this, that, and the other, I like brazed over and did like this to show everybody in the room that he is the owner. It's not about me. It's about him. And boy, did I get it when we got home. I guess you can shed some light on why that ticked you off. I thought I was doing something good, making sure the spotlight was on him because it's his company. But yeah, I guess not.
Well, after I discussed it in the sense of the way it felt when we was up there. Somebody is recognizing, although they're recognizing my company, she puts a lot of work into helping me when I have, different gigs or whatnot. If I can't, let's say the budget is not large enough to hire an assistant or something, she's more than willing to come on and help me out in certain ways. So, and I think it'll be even outside of that. If you are my spouse, right? You're my wife. A part of me being successful in this arena is how you help me behind the scenes. So if somebody is recognizing me, if the two are one, you're automatically being recognized with me. I'm not one who even likes the spotlight anyway. So I see it as they're recognizing me, they're recognizing you also. Because we are one. This journey is the journey of marriage between us. Like, you help me be excellent in what I do, even when people don't see it. So I think what I saw up there, what it felt like up there, was probably a little different from what happened in reality. Now, what I felt like happened, what I thought in my mind happened, was the lady was recognizing us, right? Because she did help with the marketing, so that's a part of it.
But she was talking about the film.
She was talking about the film and the
commercials.
advertisement and the promotion, and the part of that was posting.
Okay.
I didn't post. I didn't write any captions or any of that. I made the video, gave you the video, you wrote the caption, you posted it. That's a part of the process.
Okay.
So what I thought I saw was me trying to have my wife stand by me, and she kept walking away. I didn't think that was a good look. Now, For some people who may watch this video and attended the gala, y'all drop in the comments what it actually looked like.
Was it
because
really that bad, guys?
when we look back on the video, the way it was a it was a minimal setup. So the way we had positioned the camera, we was outside of, like, we can only see like a part of her.
You couldn't see the whole thing.
Couldn't see the whole thing because
I don't get super technical.
It's a minimal setup.
Yeah.
So it only told half the story. Now, I did tell her last night that it told, I guess, more of her half of the story, but if it would have captured everything, I think she would have understood what I was talking about. But I was trying to get you to stand by me as my wife, like receiving this recognition, because you put in the work. Also, definitely not as much as I do, but you helped me out in ways people don't see. Like, you started the video that night, right? Mm-hmm. And so in the moment, I just felt like I'm trying to have my wife stand by me so we can get recognized, and she walking away so that she can point back to me. And it felt like a disconnection. It seemed like it looked like a disconnection to me. So
okay.
I would say
it looked like we weren't on one accord.
Yeah, because
I don't know what your face did.
I
felt him on my back, like, get your behind back over here and stand beside me.
Yeah,
and I was focused on, let me show y'all who it is, because in the end, if there's questions or anything, I can assist you as much as possible. But I'm going to more than likely relay you back to.
But what you didn't realize is, even in my haste of trying to pack my bags, mm-hmm. Senator Tedder, he was asking me a question. Well, he was beginning the conversation, but I guess he saw what I was doing, and he turned to you, and it was like, y'all a team. People see it as a team.
I think because the point is, yes, when we are out, typically not when people are around, but more so when you are working, we do operate as a team.
Yeah.
I know what makes you tick. I know, like, your small details, this,
right.
that, and the other. So I know how to interject in those ways. But I think what's funny, like, before I became a wife, like, I remember, like, being in church or just being in different places, and typically when people would be honored, they'll be like, stop everything and be like, well, let me call my spouse up here. They'll either pause everything to shout their spouse out, or they'll ask their spouse to come up. And as a single person, I used to always feel like, okay, y'all, we understand that that's your spouse. Do we always? That's just my true thoughts. It's like, do we always have to pause? So you could be like, this is the butter to my, I don't know, the
butter to my biscuit.
Yeah, all that. It's like, we understand that's your support system, but right now we're just talking about you. We understand that you guys are one. So I do see it a little bit different now that I'm married. But also because we actually dated for, was it 5 years, 6 years, 5 years before we got married? 5?
Right at the beginning of 5.
Okay, so because we dated for 5 years before we got married, you sure? Never mind. Would your response have been any different? Because pretty much what people see us walking into, what you may see us doing now, like, these aren't new businesses. These aren't new ventures.
Hold on, rephrase the question. Are you asking me if we dated for a lesser amount of time?
No, I'm asking because of the length of time that we dated, we have pretty much been with each other through the development of businesses, through the like the starter steps of business, the picking each other's brains and all of that. So let's say that this same scenario happened our second year of just being in a relationship.
That's kind of what I just asked.
Would you still, babe, let me clarify it, please.
If we dated for a lesser.
Babe.
All right,
so would it still be like, nah, stand up here with me, because you tell certain people, well, I want to bring my girlfriend up, or like, is it the same? Because I could have been doing the same thing technically even as a girlfriend.
Let's say this. Technically, on a technical scale, it's not the same because a girlfriend is not the same as a wife, right? So would I have done it if we were still in a dating phase? Like if this situation would have took place and we were in a dating phase, would I have done it? Maybe if she would have called both of us up like that. As in, maybe I wouldn't have done it in a sense of stand by me as a wife, because you're not a wife at that point, you're a girlfriend.
I don't think
So,
that's fair.
so what are you saying there is no difference of privilege between a girlfriend and a wife, or a boyfriend and a husband?
No, I'm not saying that, but I think if I'm doing the same exact thing, like if I'm supporting you in the same way that I am supporting you now, I think if it really means a lot to you to like, I want to make sure I'm showing like a team effort because it's
Right.
not just me. I think that should be consistent.
Right. That's why I said she would have called both of us up there. We still would have went up there together, right? It's the fact of how I felt the disconnect as one when
Okay.
I was trying to have us recognized as a married couple, as a team in that sense.
Okay.
So as a girlfriend, the thought is we're not married, right?
Okay.
You been my girlfriend in the moment. I would have still had you come up recognized with me, but would I have
Oh, if I did
what
like
I said
this,
after what I said when we got to the house, would I have said that? Probably not, because there's just a privilege difference between girlfriend, wife. As a girlfriend, we together. You been my girlfriend, we together, right? You been my wife is more of we are one,
okay.
if that makes sense.
I
Does it make
it
sense?
makes sense. I think it still can be a little harsh because I'm thinking in moments when it's been my business and I've been at an event or doing something and you have come to either help me set up or
Right.
whatever the case may be. I was still very open with saying, yeah, my boyfriend helped me with this and my boyfriend helped me with that. And that was no, we weren't standing in front of hundreds of people, but to me, yeah, it's great to say my husband, but I felt like I've been consistent with that. So I know that your biggest point is the whole like me pulling away and like showcasing you and the difference between we are one and then we are together.
Right. Dating, you are together. Married, you are one. That's a huge difference in my thought process and my belief. That's a huge difference. A lot of people say you see some posts on wherever it's these social media platforms telling women, do not. I mean, it can go for women or men, but it say things like, do not give a boyfriend husband benefits.
Yeah.
Do not give a girlfriend wife benefits. Is a
Yeah.
reason behind that.
Yeah, because that can open up another can of worms with
Right.
the whole,
So
you're supposed to be paying my bills. You're supposed to be doing all this, which I don't know how the world has turned into all of
right.
that at this
So
point.
what I'm saying is, especially as far as recognition, yes, we'd have had the same situation as boyfriend and girlfriend. I would have had you like come up, stand beside me, But my response have been the same. That's why I'm unsure.
Okay.
But as a married couple, to me, I saw a disconnect as I was trying to get you to stand with me in recognition because of the effort you put in. And if you even see other men who stand with their wives, one of the truest things about a successful guy, when he's recognized, he doesn't leave out his wife, because even if she don't help him like deep in the business, which I know most businessmen, their wife help them in the business. But it's the help that
It's because
it's the
we're detail
support that
oriented.
people do not see behind the scenes. And the guy knows she makes my home a peaceful place. So if nothing else, she will stand by me because of that.
Yeah. So when it comes to support and behind the scenes, and well, we talked about it on like a in front of other people,
Yeah.
outside of the home. Do you feel as though when it comes to support behind the scenes, is that something that should be communicated? Do you feel as though your version of what support is different than my version? I feel like we've gone through that before. Like, I know for us, well, I thought early on, as long as I'm like, yeah, babe, good job,
Yeah.
or I'm proud of you, you're doing a great job. And to me, early on, I was like, oh, that's good enough. That's you need those words of affirmation. You need to know that I'm in your corner. And yeah, that works for you, but
Yeah.
you're a person of action. So like
Yeah.
me telling Raph, good job, versus me actually being like, okay, what's happening in your mind? Okay. Okay. I think it'll be a good idea to go about it this way. You love you love information. You like
Right.
something that actually gets things going, something that actually is of help. So while I can say I'm proud of you all day, if you don't believe that, like, even if you do certain things and I'm like, babe, that looks great. If you don't believe that it's great, I think it's like, you just
Yeah.
saying that
Yeah.
because,
It's
you trying to make me feel
right.
good.
Right. So um, let's let's actually take the video that was made for that gala. There's some things about the video that I didn't like, right? And you were like, "Oh, that looks good. That looks great. That looks fine." And I'm like, "Nah, it's still stuff that's, in my opinion, I don't like about the video. That's not going to change." You just saying that, you just trying to give me a boost, which is not bad. But in that moment, am I receptive to that boost? No.
I think
So,
it's understanding like the timing of it. So I've had to pray about, when to say certain things to you. Whether it's like, is this a moment of encouragement? Is this a moment of prayer? Is this a moment of actually like getting involved? Like, what is needed for my mate
right.
at this time? And I noticed that once I started going to God with like asking for a sense of direction and not just operating based on what I think in a moment, you are more receptive to what I'm saying, whether it's, babe, let's pause and pray, or here's some encouragement for you, or all right,
The
let's sit down and take some notes and find out what's going on.
It's the aspects, back to what I said a few minutes ago. It's the aspects of, in the situation, are you bringing peace to that situation, or are you trying to applaud me in that situation, right? And I know for myself, I cherish you bringing peace to a situation more than you trying to applaud me in a situation, or trying to boost my confidence. Because while boosting someone's confidence is good, for me in particular,
And that can only last
that
for so
comes
long.
from me, right?
Yeah.
It has to really come from me. So at the end of the day, yeah, support for me, especially in the if I'm in the midst of a job, is that ability to bring peace to the area versus trying to applaud. So on your side of things, does it look different, or what support system helps you most?
Yeah, I'm more emotional, so I need both. But words of affirmation, I need both. It's no pick one. Give me everything. I need,
Okay,
babe, you doing a good job. Babe, I'm so proud of you.
so you
I
want
need,
Superman?
ain't no Superman, babe. I need right after things get done. That was good. I need all of that, but then I also need you to be who you are. And when I say
Okay.
something, it's like, all right, this is how you can execute it. These are some things to consider. This is how we should really get the ball rolling.
Okay.
So I think that like analytical side of you is very helpful because it pushes me. So like
Yeah.
when other people tell me good job, I accept it, but I accept it with a grain of salt, which is probably not good because I know that my husband is not just, when he tells me good job, it's not just I'm just saying it to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't, because you know me so much better, you know me well enough to know that even if I execute something well, it's because you just operate good under pressure, but that doesn't mean that you took the time. I know it could have been better if you would have done your part. And
Okay.
you can call me out on that. So if you say good job, I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like I really did a good job. If somebody else tells me good job, it's like, "Well, this is actually surface level, but to you it's a great job, but I know I can do better." So I just take it differently. But I think the same way people talk about like love languages, you
Yeah.
know, you can buy me gifts all day. I'm not a gift person unless it's food. I'm not a gift person unless it's food. I get excited. Why are you giving me that look? You don't believe that? You think I'm a gift person?
You whatever you do, person, gifts, words of affirmation, do it all.
Babe, you
Just
remember who
want
I'm
Superman.
you remember who y'all at this point y'all should know I married somebody who's not super emotional. So, well, super affectionate. I'll say it like that. You are much better now, but married somebody
Yeah.
who was not super affectionate in the beginning. Yes, when you do things, I'm probably all of
Yeah,
the love
I
languages,
understand. I
gifts,
understand.
words, physical touch. Give me everything. But yeah, I think it's very important to convey what you desire as far as support and not just expect the person to read your mind, because
Right.
I can be going and it's like he never said nothing to me, or he doesn't encourage me, and it's like, well, did you tell him that? Because to you can be like, well, I sat
Yeah.
down and I went through this is me supporting you, but I have to actually let you
Cause
know what it is that I want or what it is that I feel as though
what
I
you need.
need.
Yeah. Cause
Yeah.
I would have been like, oh, I set up the tent. I put the tables up. I did all this. I
Thanks for
set the
being a
candles.
man,
I
babe.
helped you make the display. You like,
Okay.
that ain't enough.
That's
So yeah. I think one of the it is important to say, what you need as far as that support system goes and how it looks, because I think most times, especially when you are in a serious relationship with somebody after a while, or if you are married to someone, you begin to believe that they can read your mind, right? And we all had grandparents who could finish their spouse sentence, and it's like, oh, marriage goes, a relationship goes, he can just read my mind, and I'm like,
even if
not
even
in,
if the person starts to be even if the person gets that good, that doesn't mean you start to rely on it
right,
and then you
because
stop communicating.
right, because over the years, both
Yeah.
people change. Things change about how you like something done or how you feel about something. So,
Sorry, y'all.
if you catch yourself like thinking your spouse can read your mind, you already know you kind of in the wrong. And I think that works for both sides,
Yeah.
because guys do it too. I done been there to where she should. It's like, you ain't say nothing though.
Right. So shut up.
So shut up. You walk around the
What you
house
crying
like
for?
like she should know or he should know. It's like they have no clue. They probably have no clue of what you're thinking in your mind. You just think they should know by the way you walking and all this other stuff. So,
Yeah.
and
What? Go ahead.
even I'll make this thing. You can
I'm
say,
sorry, babe.
but even in that, once your spouse, lets you know something, like you saying with the support system, because now I have that information, you know, then I have to, especially if something that is not easy to me, if it's not easy for me, it doesn't come like naturally, then I have to, put in effort to just say, I'm not a big guy on words of affirmation or whatnot. So I have to put in the conscious effort.
I'm sorry. When you said that, Your your words of affirmation is funny. I was thinking about, so guys, I'm not switching gears. Sorry, babe, I'm not cutting you off. I am, but it was
You
funny. So when I was on the table in labor, when Ezra we was trying to, push him out, and we decided, that it would just be us in the room. I just wanted that experience with this being our first child, and the reason was, when I really need support, sometimes certain encouragement, like my mama, you looking like the singing of the songs, the laying of the hands.
Mom would have said,
Jesus loves you.
Yes,
She would have been singing the songs of heaven. And as much as I love the Lord, I'm like, Mama, I don't think I need that
Go ahead.
not knowing what my body is about to go through. I love Jesus, but I need some, like, let's go. So in the moment of pushing Ezra out, my husband's words of affirmation was literally like, y'all, I felt like I was on a football team. He's like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, push and push. And when I tell you, it literally got me going. Ezra was out so quick. He was out so quick. So I think even in a manner like that, like if somebody would have asked me before, like, what type of support does he need to give you in that time, I asked my husband to watch videos. And while he did some of the stuff he saw on the videos with, like, the pressing of my back, this, that, and the other, in that moment, he did what he felt was best for me. And I don't think I would have been able to verbally express to you that was the type of support that I needed. I didn't know I needed, because I ain't never had a baby before. But your hypeness got me hype so much, to the point. I mean, of course, y'all, I ain't take the pain. I had the shot doped. But that hypeness, now I don't know if I did it natural, I would have been, the same. But that encouragement from you, like seeing the excitement, seeing that look of, you really can do this, like that pushed me into just another level. So I wanted to say that. I wanted to segue that in, because it's like, when it comes to your partner, trust that that's your partner. Trust that God made that person for you, trust it. So even in moments when you can't explain what you think you need, like how I said earlier when we started the conversation, like I pray about sometimes how I need to best support my husband. I'm not saying he went into prayer before, but he was sensitive to what I needed in the moment and within those hours. And in the finale, like, I love telling our story, because I was like, man, my husband had me going.
Every situation is different, right? So you who the person who's sitting in the I'm supporting you role, one method of support may not be what's needed in that moment. Don't get offended if that's not what's needed in that moment.
Yeah.
Do something else, especially if you're in the phase of your spouse really can't tell you or explain what they need. Give an effort, right? And I know it can get kind of frustrating if you're trying to do something for someone, but they can't explain what they need and what they want, but then they want you to do something anyway. It's like that can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah.
But understand what moment you're in. Some moments, I'm just gonna say it. Some moments can be like babe, you need a second to yourself. I'm trying. But everything I try, you ain't liking. So I'm gonna just give you a moment to yourself to really think about it, right? And then you let me know.
You know me, I'll be quick to be like, babe, you need to go with your boys or something.
Other times it's just not being offended when what you're doing is not working, especially when she was in the labor room.
Yeah.
She don't really know what's going on,
No idea.
The first time, so it's like, try this, that ain't working. Try this. Ooh, it working now. Nah, it ain't working.
No more.
Okay, try this. So just be patient in some situations, and then for the person who's getting the support, understand that the person is trying to help you. They're trying to better the situation.
Ooh, I had a light bulb moment. Y'all, this for my singles. So, what's our time?
I was just counting how many times you interrupted me while I was trying to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry, babe.
I,
You know how the preachers be
What's
like,
that
the Lord
yesterday
just
when my mama
downloaded.
here?
You know how the preachers be like, the Lord downloaded a nugget or whatever. I feel like I just had that moment.
Okay, go ahead with your nugget. Let me check
So,
the volume.
okay. So, I know that it can be very frustrating when you feel like you are not supported in a certain way, or like your person isn't really getting you. You can feel as though they're leaving you hanging. And I'm saying all that because that's something that we definitely went through for a few years. But
We did?
yeah, babe, we did. We did. It was a tough journey, but the Lord told me to stay. Oh,
Oh, please.
I almost went into my heavenly language.
Who is not supporting who?
The Lord, no, not in that. I mean, like in moments of wanting to quit because you don't feel like the other person is understanding you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
now?
think we were both there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's why I said this is for the singles, because we're talking like, yeah, we married, but y'all, we didn't just get here yesterday.
The
Like
Lord
it took a lot of
kind,
growth.
as you said.
Yeah, the Lord is kind. It took a lot of growing to get to the point where you are not so selfish. That's the biggest thing. When you stop being selfish and you take a moment to say, okay, this is not about me. Even if I was doing all of these things and the person is not responding or the person is not receptive, remember that it's not about you. You know, we appreciate all the effort, but it's not about you. So if you need to pause for a moment and be like, okay, Lord, what is it that this person needs? The person could be going through something. The person can be struggling with something mentally that they literally verbally cannot express. And especially for women, the men, when we start when we start yapping, they tune us out.
Tune out.
They tune us out, which is why when you talk about men, they talk a lot about peace. She's my peace. That means a lot to them. So if you feel like you're getting into that yappiness and they're not being receptive to it, take a moment to pause. Take a moment to pray. Take a moment to be sensitive to what they're going through, even if you still don't know the answer right then and there. And if you need to take a day or two to come back and say, okay, what is it that how can I best support you right now? If the answer is, well, right now I just don't want to talk about it, but if you could just sit by me, be okay with just sitting there and being quiet. You know, sometimes presence can mean a lot. Sometimes praying, but walking away can mean a lot. Sometimes a distraction, like, let's just have a game night. Let's talk about everything except for this very serious issue for the next week. Sometimes that can be helpful. But
then
I wanted
there's a
to
flip side
that.
to that too. The men have to meet their wives
Yes.
and understand that you married an
Or your girlfriend.
emotional creature.
Yep.
So you have to give her that conversation at some point. Like, and I don't mean at some point once every 6 months. Like, she needs that more. I think that's another thing. Like, we going through premarital cancer. I was about to say cancer.
Premarital. I ain't saying it either.
Premarital counsel.
Shout out to the Evans.
Let me get this word right. Premarital counsel.
Okay, babe. Good job.
I think it's things that you knew, but you maybe didn't really consider. Mm-hmm. Like, some things is not specifically your husband acting like a fool or your wife acting emotional. It's just a female trait or a male trait.
Yeah.
Some things is just, he's a man.
Yep.
Why are you doing that? He's a man. Why are you doing that?
Like,
she's
why does
a
it
woman.
take men
Right?
3 days to process something? I don't understand that. But y'all have a lot more on y'all plate.
No, we just thinking through all the pros.
Y'all think about a lot of things. You know, as women, y'all, we give details right away.
And that's true, because if something drops, right, especially with your family, something drops, most time people are going to look at the husband like, you dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. And it's not that in a sense it's not wrong, because if that happens, we do take that on our shoulders. Like, yo, I dropped the ball here. It shouldn't have mattered if my wife couldn't. I hate to say it like this. It shouldn't have mattered if she couldn't help me with this thing right here. In a sense, I dropped the ball for my family, right? So, moving on from that, but back to the support system. It worked both ways, right?
Yeah.
Men, we need that support for peace. Women need the support for
Everything. Right? We need support for everything, right? But we communicate it. So, well, I can't speak for all. I communicate.
Yeah.
You know, like, baby, remember when you did this? It would have been really good if you did this too.
Is that women mostly need it for all? Because men mostly, we need it for other things, but I would say we mostly need it for peace.
Because
definitely.
when you hear conversations with women, it's typically this. Well, he does good in this, but it's always a but. Like, we can say, well, yeah, he talks to me about all of these things, but he isn't financially stable where he can financially support this. It's like we always have a but. It's always something. And I mean, I'm speaking as a lady, but
Yeah.
I feel like in these conversations, because I've had to learn to not do that. It's like now when I talk to women and I hear it, it's like this one-sidedness. We'll praise the man, and then it's always a but that's like right around the corner. It's like, he's a great dad, but if he could just wash the dishes, he's this, but if he can just, and it's like, okay, remember, like, don't be so fixated on the but that you actually forget to fully acknowledge what you started the sentence with, because that's actually, like, these days, that's a big deal. If he's a great dad, that's a big deal. So it's not like you just say it and then you immediately go to what he's not doing around the house. It's like, well, good Lord, good dad, house chores.
Hyper focused on
small.
Trying to be hyper focused on the inefficiencies.
Yeah.
It's like they're there. Yes, it's something that he can improve on. Yes, you guys sit down. We sit down and talk about it, and from there is just implementing ways to move forward in it. But did you want to say anything else regarding support?
Yeah, I don't know how much time we have left. I feel like we've been talking for probably 45 minutes. So I'm going to tell my husband that we can probably do a part 2, because I also wanted to get, listen, babe, I also wanted to get into like, how do you support your person even if it feels as though they're getting all of the shine? Like, how do you still be of a team member to them without starting to feel some type of way? That's something that I want to talk about in part 2, because I feel like that could be,
that's a big conversation.
We can go a lot of ways with that.
That's a big conversation for guys, especially if your wife is outshining you, or more recognizable.
More people know her
than you. I think that's a good topic that guys need to talk about, because it's a prideful ego thing that I think most guys, I won't say all, but most guys have to deal with if their wife is more notable than they are.
Yes. I feel like you about to keep going.
No, I was done.
Okay.
I said part 2, so.
Part 2. Now just hold us to that.
All right, so is that it for part 1?
Yeah, that's it for part 1. We appreciate you guys sitting with us. As you can see, Ezra did not make it in today's episode because we did an early morning episode.
My man,
that's why you don't see backs under our eyes. We did it. You may see him on the next episode, but thank you for tuning in.
So.
Oh, go ahead and close us out. Sound like we in church service. Everybody's gonna make you welcome.
The way you
welcome.
The way you concluded, you was like, Thank you for tuning in. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching this episode. Remember to like, subscribe, comment.
Yeah, and we're going to get back to the
Join in.
comments. Oh, shout out. Y'all been doing good. Shout out. We have over 200 subscribers. Y'all have been showing love over the past few weeks. But yeah, keep in mind that our full episodes drop on Monday, every other Monday, because life is life. And in those gaps, we also drop 2 minis. So when you don't have time to watch the full episode, we also post snippets.
Yep.
Yeah.
With that being said, don't you ever walk away when I'm trying to get ready.
If you don't put your finger down.
All right. Anyway, that's all.
Yeah.
So
Peace
out.